has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hey everybody, Big Dog here. If you could be so kind as to give me a like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're liking the content. Also, if you're looking to interact with me a little more, there's a link in the description box below of every video that I do. It's a link to all my social media accounts, Twitter, Twitch, my Discord server, TikTok, all that good stuff, if you want to interact with me a little more. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did. Now, what do you say we get on with the show, huh? Ooh, what's going on, everybody? It is your man, Big Dog here. Welcome to episode 212 of the Dog House. Yeah, I'm recording this Saturday morning, because unfortunately I was kind of busy last night with my family, so unfortunately I couldn't do it. I couldn't stream, nor could I record this last night. Oh, come on! But I will have this up before the end of the day today. Anyway, first thing I want to get into, I know I've been taking a lot longer to do my gaming in trouble video. Hopefully I should have that done before the end of May, or at least beginning of June. That's when I'm kind of looking to, push that video. I know I've been taking a long time with that. I've wanted to take my time with it, mainly because I wanted to put a little more quality into it. Quote unquote quality, I know, but just bear with me. Bear with me. Okay? As always, I do appreciate you guys' support and patience, and I hope it... Why am I saying I hope? It will be rewarded. I promise you that. But anyway, let's move on to today's topic. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the RTX 5060 and 5060 Ti that apparently launched Wednesday, I want to say. Yeah, Wednesday. It launched Wednesday, and a lot of people are not happy about it for a lot of reasons why most people are not happy with NVIDIA these days. Their graphics cards aren't always available when they come out, and the fact that they're still selling 8 gig graphics cards for $300. That don't make sense. But anyway, let's go to... Yes, I know we're going to watch a Linus Tech Tips video after the trouble he got himself into a while ago, but this is honestly the only real review I can find.
This is just one of the 3 new GPUs that NVIDIA is launching today.
See what I mean? Why? Just why an 8 gig? Who's going to use this?
The RTX 5060 Ti 16 gig. Where are the rest of them? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? And when we reached out to NVIDIA's board partners to find the answer, the responses we got back ranged from complete radio silence to... Ooh. What?
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Bruh.
Here we go again with NVIDIA underestimating how much stock they need. God, it's sad. It's really sad because, unfortunately, NVIDIA, their technology is extremely hard to beat. The problem is they're extremely greedy, and they cost you like thousands of dollars. And one, they always have stock issues and pricing issues too. It's just insane to me.
What?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to review these cards with no 5060 to test and no 5060 Ti 8 gig to test and somehow draw a conclusion? This is it. This is the point where the game has gotten so stupid that I'm just not willing to play it anymore. Our job is to give you guys an accurate, non-rushed review of these things. But if NVIDIA
Never mind.
can't do their part and actually launch the cards when they say they're launching them, my job is impossible. Not to mention that with the current state of things, anything that we say about the value of these supposedly budget-oriented cards would be meaningless anyway, because MSRP needs about a dozen asterisks beside the S these days.
Yeah, that's another problem that people have been rightfully calling out. Unfortunately, yeah, the MSRP for these cards wasn't horrible, but at the same time, you've got stocking issues, you've got scalpers, you've got the tariffs that just went into effect, so it's kind of hard to buy these cards now.
Now, to be clear, I'm not blaming Team Green for the state of the global trade situation, but what they do,
Which is right, because that they don't really have a control over that.
deserve a good old-fashioned tongue lashing for is how they've managed the 50 series launch. They oversold the performance,
Well, that's not surprising. They always do that.
shipped uncharacteristically buggy software, not to mention hardware. They cherry-picked demos that gloss over some very legitimate downsides to what are, in some cases, legitimately cool features, and then they spread the whole thing out over months in an attempt to dominate the news cycle for far longer than this wet fart of a launch deserves.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
And for
I'm sorry, that was kind of funny. Wet fart of a launch. That's actually a pretty good analogy.
what? NVIDIA, your shareholders don't even care about this worthless gaming segment rounding error anymore. And that's actually the first thing.
Wait a minute. Q4 data set. Wow. So they're gaming. So the majority of their okay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not a financial expert, so I don't know how to read this graph. But if I am reading this graph correctly, it looks like, according to this, the majority of NVIDIA's revenue is from data centers, not gaming, which kind of explains why they don't really prioritize it anymore.
Care about this worthless gaming segment rounding error anymore. And that's actually the first thing that I want to talk about. Because it feels like, with all the intimate dinners with presidents and crocodile leather jackets, NVIDIA seems to have become
What in the world? Go back.
intimate dinners with presidents
Trump administration backs off NVIDIA's H20 chip crackdown after Mar-a-Lago dinner. Oh boy.
and crocodile leather
What is this jacket, man?
jackets. NVIDIA seems to have become grossly out of touch with the gamers that this, again, budget card is supposed to delight. Huh?
The guy in the leather jacket. You don't need to buy expensive GPUs from him.
Huh?
I said that our sponsor Jawa is a legit marketplace to buy and sell you.
NVIDIA told us that their RTX 5060 series GPUs, which we will be covering with unboxings and some light benchmarking over on Short Circuit,
Okay.
are laser focused on users of both older 60 class GPUs and game consoles. And if you look at the Steam hardware survey, this approach actually makes sense. At least
Okay.
on the surface.
Agreed. On the surface, makes sense.
I mean, almost 25% of users are running some form of 60 class GPU, many of which are locked out of fancy new features like DLSS frame generation and even DLSS AI resolution upscaling for that matter. And we actually planned to explore this upgrade path angle as part of our review. But here's the critical piece that NVIDIA seems to be missing. If I bought a base tier GTX 1060, I'm
I almost bought this card years ago.
the kind of person who probably spends, about $200 on a GPU.
Mm-hmm.
Less if I can snag a deal. What I'm probably not is the kind of person who spends $300, or realistically,
That's insane to me.
$380.
$375 for a 8 gig VRAM GPU is stupid to me. If you're gonna sell that, it should be around $250 maybe. I know I'm harping on the price a little more than I should, but dude, it's too much. This is
or
too much.
$430 if I want an appropriate amount of VRAM
This makes a little more sense, but still,
for modern
still
gaming.
too much.
And NVIDIA's argument only gets dumber if we compare to console gaming. I mean, to be clear, I fully acknowledge the benefits of PC gaming. Steam summer sales, free online multiplayer and voice chat, a smorgasbord of games and peripherals spanning decades. But for NVIDIA to roll in 1 week after Nintendo's disastrous reveal that the price of the Switch 2 was $450 and go, okay, but hear me out. Instead of a
Yeah. You know what this makes me think of? This makes me think like he's kind of right though. When you think about it, when when Nintendo revealed the Switch 2, everybody was so pissed about the price. And now Nvidia's coming out like, "Hey, Nintendo, hold my beer."
whole ass console, you could have just the GPU and dinner for 2 at McDonald's. It's almost comical.
Wait, what happened?
Just the GPU and dinner for 2 at McDonald's. It's almost comical. Speaking of things comical.
What, me? Nice. Real nice, Linus. But what's not nice is the way Nvidia has treated basically everyone like crap on this launch. We've talked before at length about how Nvidia's board partners don't have cards, their retail partners don't have products to sell, and their customers can't even afford their products. But they took a massive dump on us too. When we tried to coordinate dates for our reviews, they told us, and I kid you not, just make your content whenever the card arrives.
Are you serious right now, bro?
That's insane. That is absolutely fucking insane. So let me get this straight. You think it's a good idea? So you have a product as a business. You have a product, and you want to test it out. You want people to really buy your product, right? And then when you have like these partners, like Linus, not able to get the cards, that's a problem. It's a huge problem. And I find it hilarious that these companies don't look at this and say, maybe we're in the wrong.
What? We all know how important it is to have a review ready the moment a new product launches. And if there's
Exactly.
no set date, it means that whoever sharts out some benchmarks first ends up with the best performing video. This incentivizes low effort, low quality reviews, which is harmful to gamers. And it also incentivizes crunch culture. Gross. We're gonna touch on that a little bit later in this video because it was a major factor for us when we decided to sit this one out on LTT and upload this video instead of a video dedicated to the performance and features of the RTX 5060 family.
Which is a shame because some of NVIDIA's new AI features legitimately are kind of cool. NVIDIA has data that proves what...
I'm going to be honest. Me personally, I find their AI stuff a little pointless. Me personally, but if you're into that kind of stuff, don't think I'm making fun of you, please. If you like this, that's okay. You can like it. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, me personally, I think it's pointless.
I know from speaking to people anecdotally, and that is that most gamers don't really care about pixel perfect image quality.
Didn't I just say that? Look at that. I know more than you think.
And they will turn on features like AI upscaling and multi-frame gen, which generates 3 fake frames for every real frame rendered. And enjoy them. And the 5060 series gives gamers access to these features at a lower price point than before. We were legitimately excited to see how they might perform. The problem is that while NVIDIA makes our jobs more difficult doing those investigations, they're also ramping up their bombastic marketing claims, saying things like 50 times the performance for millions of gamers. I mean, yeah, sure, if you...
Stop the cap.
Let's be realistic. NVIDIA's been doing this for a while now, overinflating their performance numbers. But nobody really seems to care.
Cherry pick the games that support these magical more FPS settings.
That's
And
true.
if you compare to a 9-year-old card that doesn't support these features, I
That's actually true.
guess you can say that, but I guess you can also see why NVIDIA, after they say stuff like that, doesn't want too many actual reviews of these cards.
Did you know in other news that my 2021 Civic Sport is actually faster than Linus's old 2003 Civic? Just don't drag race them.
Why in the world is he driving? Never mind.
Faster than Linus's old 2003 Civic? Just don't drag race them against each other, okay?
See, NVIDIA? sounds pretty stupid when you say it out loud, right?
Yep.
To be clear, I'm not hating on your AI and performance boosting features.
Neither am I.
DLSS, multi-frame gen, and in the future, Reflex 2 all seem like excellent tools to have in my gaming toolkit. And it's also clear that all of this stuff is here to stay, given that both Intel and AMD have gotten on board. I just don't like that you're marketing them in a way that completely ignores their downsides, like reduced image quality, sluggish input latency, and whatever Reflex 2's downsides will turn out to be. You're just focusing on padding your numbers, something that's been a bit of a pattern this year.
Yeah, let's talk.
Just this year? No, they do this a lot. And Intel and AMD are no, but actually AMD doesn't do it as much as Nvidia and Intel do, but they do it.
It seems like for Nvidia, MSRP is a complete lie at this point. Manufacturer suggested retail pricing, more like marketing strategy to rip off people. Got him.
No, but it's a good attempt. I will give you that. It was a good attempt.
Because they are never accurate compared to real world prices. It makes it almost impossible for reviewers to properly assess the value of these things. I'm gonna pretend here and say that every card is MSRP and delivers exactly one frame per dollar. That would be the ideal scenario for anyone trying to assess how much damage they want to do to their wallet.
Yeah, that's pretty ideal.
Now let's say each card stays at the same frame rate, but has an extra $50 on it, because it's not available at MSRP.
Nope.
This can dramatically change the value proposition of a budget card while barely impacting a high-end one. Maybe even turning our conclusion from a recommend to a don't buy. And being left in the dark on these cards is particularly worrisome, since with everything going on with global trade right now, we might be lucky if it's only $50 over MSRP.
Oh,
What
sorry. I was just gearing up because I know this next point is going to make some people mad.
All right.
Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure that you've heard about the will they, won't they tariff dance that our red, white, blue, green, and orange neighbors have been doing for the last little while. We made a whole video on this a few months ago, explaining that tariffs are a consumer tax and that they will impact pricing. But what we didn't talk about as much, even though it could be just as impactful, is the way that the constant back and forth of not knowing which tariffs are real and which ones aren't is going to impact businesses, small, medium, and large. This kind of uncertainty affects everything from production forecasting to logistics planning, neither of which can just pivot on a dime. So again, I'm not blaming Nvidia specifically if their supply is kind of messed up or if they have to increase pricing due to tariffs. I mean, heck, we might run into the same thing on LTT Store, which totally blows. I mean, heck, we might run into the same.
What in the world is this? Oh, whoops.
Thing
Maybe
on
did.
LTT Store, which
Okay, the
totally
backpack doesn't look
blows.
terrible.
I'm just saying that as a customer, it is something that you need to be ready for with this launch. The Shipstorm sale event is live now on LTTstore.com. You'll get free shipping on any order over
5060 family. Nvidia has done at least one thing right with the 5060 family.
Okay.
Across the board, it's either on par or cheaper than last generation, which is welcome considering that wafer costs are rumored to have been climbing at an astonishing rate due to TSMC's near monopoly on cutting-edge microprocessor fabrication. That means that, assuming that these prices are real, even if these cards performed identically to last gen in native rendering, which they pretty much might, you're at least getting a slightly better performance per dollar. But of course, I don't know any of that for sure, because to add to this icing on this so-called launch cake, Nvidia didn't give us the review guide or drivers until last Thursday.
Oh my god. That's insane. It's like they legitimately do not want people reviewing their cards anymore.
There's just 3.5 business days to study the documentation, test, retest, message NVIDIA in case there are any issues, write the script, edit the script, shoot, edit, review, make fixes, review again, confirm that labs information is accurate, and then post to YouTube.
Oh my god.
And okay, sure, I could have just asked people nicely or more likely, bribed them to give up their weekend in order to meet the embargo for this one card, I have no doubt that our world-class team could have done it. But real talk here. For what? So you guys
Where'd that box
can
come
be
from?
mad in the comments about how it feels to wait 2 years for a 5% performance improvement sundae that has some fake frame sauce drizzled over top? And then they want me to do it again, and again, at some random future juncture when the other 2 cards arrive. Nah, man. NVIDIA, you're acting like that chick that used to be hot, and she thinks she's still hot, and she thinks I'm gonna like f***ing drop everything when she comes calling like that. But I'm married with 3 kids now, and not only do I love my wife, but if we're being honest, you peaked in high school anyway. I'm not playing your games anymore.
That's actually not a bad analogy. That's not a bad analogy, I'm not gonna lie.
And honestly, that's a hard thing for me to say. I want to have positive things to say. I like technology.
Me too, man. Like, I love tech. I don't like being all doom and gloom, but it's kind of hard when people like this are just running shit that we love into the ground.
I want to be an enthusiastic voice that's finding the bright points in an increasingly stagnant PC gaming industry. And I'm committed to continuing to work with everyone, including NVIDIA, who we have some really cool projects coming up with that we wouldn't have been able to do without their sponsorship, including some sick giveaways. Like, I still love the
Damn, that is a huge server.
products. I still use them at home. It's just hard to be excited about them right now. And it's especially hard to let you guys down. I'm sorry that we didn't have a full review of all of these cards today. We wanted to, and we're gonna do our best within regular office hours to get some numbers into our short circuit unboxing, and we will get some more detailed numbers posted on the LTT Labs website. I just felt like this was the more important message today.
Do you know what else is important?
The segue to our sponsor, Rocket Money.
Nope. Okay. All right, we're not gonna watch the rest of that because the rest of that is an ad. But like Linus said, it's really hard for me to get excited about these GPUs anymore because it's like, one, we know for a fact that scalpers are gonna fuck everything over. Two, let's be honest, MSRP is kind of a joke these days. Sorry, messing with my mic. And yeah, what else? There was one more thing. And it doesn't always help that NVIDIA doesn't always do a great job with these cards at launch. I don't know, man. You know what? I might be mentioning this in my Gaming in Trouble video, but it's things like this that makes it hard for me to recommend this hobby to people. Because, I don't know. It's heartbreaking. I love gaming. I love tech. But these companies are becoming so greedy that it's hard for me to recommend things to people because of all this nonsense. But what the hell do I know? Anyway, that's it for this episode of The Doghouse. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the meme of the day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.